Hey, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Real Talk with Ellison, and I am Ellison. Listen, if you are on Facebook, please go ahead and hit the like button. If you are on YouTube, please go ahead and subscribe. And listen, don't forget to hit the bell. This way, you can get notifications when we are live here on Real Talk with Ellison. Our show talks about real issues that impact the community and the church as a whole. And with that being said, we're about to get this show started. Everyone, welcome to Real Talk with Ellison, and I am Ellison. Listen, I am not going to be before you guys long, but I am going to make sure that this episode is extremely informative. It's something that the Lord has put on my heart that I needed to share, that I wanted to get out to the community. And with your help, we can reach more than anybody that I can reach. What I'm discussing today is fentanyl, right? We've heard this word all over the place. We've heard it on the news. We hear people, unfortunately, overdosing from it. So today I'm going to be discussing fentanyl. Fentanyl is rapidly taking over all street drugs. It is for the first time in U.S. history in a 12-month period there were over 100,000 overdose deaths due to fentanyl in a 1 year time span. That's the first time in America's history. 100,000 overdose, all because of fentanyl, right? So how do we, the people, how do we as Christians, how do we as parents, how do we as leaders, business owners, whatever you want to say, how do we just sit back and be quiet with this drug going as rapid as it is? Right? So we have to make sure that we educate ourselves so that we can discuss this matter with our kids, with our family members. We have to make sure we talk to our church folks about it. We have to spread the word about fentanyl, right? So God had put it on my heart to bring awareness to this drug. And listen, let us not wait until it hits one of our loved ones. Let us not wait until it touches our children, a family member. Let us not wait, because we have a voice and we need to use our voices now, right? It matters now because it does take a village, right? So many people may say, what is fentanyl? What is it? It's normally used for pain. It's frequently used to treat cancer. It can come in a pill form, in a lozenge, which is, just a little like a lozenge, almost like that. Or it can even come in a patch. So it comes in many different ways medically. But however, the streets have taken over, and due to the easiness and the cost effectiveness that it costs to make this drug, it has become the number one drug on the street. Fentanyl is 50 times more potent than heroin, however you want to pronounce it. Fentanyl is 100 more times powerful than morphine. This is a powerful drug, right? And fentanyl is not new. A lot of people are saying, oh, it's new, it's just now hitting the streets. No, it's just now getting public attention because it's hitting all barriers, it's crossing all barriers, it's touching all nationalities, all ages, all genders. But if you remember in 2018, Purple Rain, Prince, he was found dead by accidental overdose use of fentanyl. That was in 2018. This is why we have to bring awareness to such things, because if we bring awareness to it, it's not to say that it wouldn't grow, but perhaps we wouldn't make history. And this is a bad way to make history with the most overdoses in 1 year. So we have to pay attention to what's happening. And I feel like sometimes we lose focus because we don't want to listen to the news anymore. We don't want to pay attention to what's going on, right? And what about us in the church? Why aren't we talking more about this? It's affecting church people too. It doesn't matter if you're Baptist, Apostolic, Pentecost, Episcopal, Catholic, it's affecting everyone. It has no respect of person. This drug is another attack on God's people, and we are all God's people. And that's why, as a church, we need to bring awareness to our members. We need to have a study on this. We need to bring about awareness to them, because a lot of us are stuck in a system where we are in the church, at work, and we don't know what's going on until it hits home. Are we talking about this with our youth? Are we letting our youth know what's going on? It's important that they know what's going on. Just because they're in a church don't mean they're not out there smoking marijuana. Just because they're in a church don't mean that their friends don't say, hey, you have a headache, I have a pill for you. And they don't even know it, right? So this is why we have to stay vigilant and not be too busy. And you guys know I like to say busy means being under Satan's yoke. Being so busy, even when we're doing in the church, sometimes we're on so many auxiliaries, we don't know if we're coming or going. We're in the church, but we're not about our Father's business because we're not being vigilant and we're not warning the people. We're not warning about what's going on because you know what? It's too much for me. I can't handle that. Nobody said you have to sit and watch the news for 24 hours a day, but you need to watch what's going on, because how can you be vigilant of the enemy that's roaring like a lion, right? Vigilance means be watchful. Are we watchful? Are we the watchmen protecting our church folks, our children, our family, our loved ones, right? But we have to be more than just watchmen. We have to do more than just stand by and watch. What we have to do is pray, of course, but we have to do more than that, because faith without works is dead. So that means that we have something to do. And what do we need to do? We need to use our voice to warn people, right? Paul said it best. Paul let us know best that we have to warn people. He told them in Acts 20, verse 31, therefore watch and remember that for 3 years I did not cease to warn everyone day and night with tears. When I read that, I said, my God, he for day and night for 3 years, diligently, he warned the people of what was going on. He warned the people. Are we warning? Or do we say, hey, watch out for this, or hey, don't do that? And you know what I said? I told them they're going to be hard-headed and do what they want to do. What if Paul was hard-headed? What if Jesus was hard-headed? We've got to warn the people. He said day and night with tears. That means he was mourning and warning, because he was concerned about the people. He wasn't concerned about, and I'm not saying anything's wrong with this, he wasn't concerned about Greeters ministry. And I'm talking to myself because I was on 11 different auxiliaries. He's concerned about all that stuff, but it was more importantly to warn the people. Warn the people what is going on. We are still in this world. We might not be of it. This might not be our home, but we're still here. And if we want our generation to be the next generation, are we warning them? We can't give up hope. We can't give up hope on them. We're saying that they're the lost generation. Well, why shouldn't they think they're lost? Because that's what we're speaking into them. We need to warn our children. We need to warn our children because it is important. Now, I'm going to tell you how this drug emulates, right? I just talked about the devil and how he roars like a roaring lion, because he's not a lion. He's an imitation, right? So here I am today. I'm warning you, and I want to equip you so that you can warn others, because it does take a village to spread the word. We need to warn our children. What do we need to warn our children about? Fentanyl. It is mixed into other drugs such as cocaine, crystal meth, heroin, and you know what? I'm sure we all have good kids. I'm sure we all would like to say, not my child. But let's keep it real. It's real talk with Ellasin. I don't know what they're doing when they're not here. I just can hope and pray that they are upholding what I taught them. But at the end of the day, they have choices. So we need to warn them, right? What else? They are putting them in pills, fake pills, imitating oxycodone, oxy, imitating Vicodin, imitating Percocet just so they can get high. A young boy, he was 14 years old, 14 or 15 years old. His friend said, hey, I got a Percocet. It'll take your pain away. And he died because it was a fake Percocet. It was fentanyl. Xanax and Adderall, right? Xanax for anxiety, but they are imitation pills. Adderall and Ritalin, that's for ADHD. Kids take that because they wanna be woke. They want to stay awake. They want to have energy. But in the meantime, these pills are laced with fentanyl, right? So they are posing them or other medications when it's really fentanyl. So what do we need to do? We need to warn our children, our family, and our friends. Do not take any medication unless it's from the pharmacy. Do not take any medication just from anybody and say, hey, you got a headache, here's something. We need to let people know. Go buy your own Tylenol, right? Go buy your own medication. Get your own prescription. Don't use other people's prescriptions, because you don't know if their prescription, you don't even know if they know it's been laced. So these are the things that we have to stay vigilant about and that we have to warn. Remember, Paul said for 3 years, day and night, he warned with tears. So this is what we have to do. There was a disturbing story. I want to say it was earlier this week. And I'm going to play a little bit about it. And this really touched my heart.
The parents of 1-year-old Nicolas Dominici say they can't imagine life without their son, who died at a licensed home-based daycare just a week after they enrolled him. First responders found Nicolas and 2 other children unconscious at the Divino Niño daycare Friday. Police say Narcan was used to revive them in an apparent fentanyl exposure. A 4th child, picked up earlier, was rushed to the hospital by his mother after looking lethargic.
The NYPD executed a search warrant at this daycare center where we discovered a kilo press. This is an item that is commonly used by drug dealers when packaging large quantities of drugs.
Daycare owner Gray Mendez and building tenant Carlisto Brito each face nearly a dozen charges, including murder, assault, and child endangerment. They are expected to be arraigned in a Bronx criminal court late Sunday night. New York City's mayor visited the children and spoke on the nation's opioid crisis.
It is truly a crisis. It is truly a crisis. And this is why we have to stay vigilant. Thank God that some of the children were revived, and prayers to the family who lost their 1-year-old, who just started that daycare 1 week prior due to fentanyl, because the people on the streets that's selling it are not concerned about our children, our parents, our husbands, our wives, our church members, our loved ones. They're not concerned about the employee. They're not concerned. It's all about the money. It's all about the money. That's why we have to stay vigilant, right? We have to warn the people, because this is real. I don't even know what to call it. I would love to say that it's a trick of the enemy, but it's us, because we're not being vigilant enough. We're not watching out. We're not standing to watch. We got to stand to watch, right? I keep saying we have to warn our children. We have to warn our family. We have to warn our loved ones. And I don't want to just you guys to hear what I'm saying, but I want you guys to do something about it. It's not safe to even take drinks if you're out, regardless if it's soda, tea, or alcohol. Tell your kids, don't take drinks from anybody. Anybody want to buy you a drink? No, thank you. Get your own drink. I was just talking with a young lady not too long ago, earlier this week. And she said a couple came up to her and her friend and was like, oh, you guys are cute. And, let me buy you guys a drink. And next thing you know, she don't even remember anything. She just knows she woke up at her house. That's all. And she's good and grown in her 30s. We can't trust, unfortunately, like that. We have to be vigilant. We have to stay woke, right? So fentanyl is not only on the streets, but they are selling it on social media. They are selling it also on social media. And where are most of our kids? Where are most of everybody at right now? On social media. So you can get it on social media at the cost is cheap. So are we watching what our children are doing? Are we watching what they're scrolling on and hitting and all that other stuff? Are we being vigilant? I don't know. But what can we do? We can definitely pray. We can definitely stay vigilant. We can definitely warn. We can definitely educate the community. They have something, and this is sad, they have something called fentanyl test strips. Now you take the strips, right? And it tests for unregulated drugs. They test if it's contaminated with fentanyl. Test strips for fentanyl. That's how bad it is on the street, that they selling test strips so you can test if the drug you're about to use, whether it's from marijuana to oxy, is laced with any kind of contamination. But how many knew that? How many people out there know that there's test strips to test this for this drug? I didn't know it until I started researching about it, right? Then they have something called Narcan. Narcan, you used to get it in the hospitals, and it was for people that would overdose. Now, recently, it's been approved to sell over the counter. That's how bad it's getting. So now they're saying if you use drugs, keep Narcan on you. And that really just touches my heart, because the epidemic is so bad that you got to walk around with test strips and you got to walk around with Narcan. And I can't blame it all on the church. I can't blame it on parents. I can't blame it all, but we got to do what we have to do, because people are going to do what they want to do regardless. But at least we can come forth and we can educate. And that's what I hope you guys get out of the show today. A little bit of education on fentanyl. More importantly, read the word. Acts 20:31. Warn the people. Warn the people. Church folks, neighbors, families, friends, your children, warn the people. Although Narcan could be used, it can be used to reverse it. Most of the time it's too late because you don't know you took it. And that's why accidental overdoses are at an alarming rate and climbing. Again, please warn the people. Do your research on it. Talk to your kids, your grandkids, your nieces, your nephews, your friends, your loved ones. Talk to them about it. Fentanyl is real, right? I told you guys I wasn't going to be before you long. So I hope this has been a wake-up call that we need to warn, a wake-up call that we need to be more vigilant. And I just want to say thank you for watching Real Talk with Ellasin, and God bless.